station with the most local news. Fox 17 News at 6 starts right now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Christian Frank.
And I'm Michelle DeSalms.
First at 6, a Grand Rapids man charged with sexually assaulting his own foster daughter at their home. That suspect in the Kent County Jail tonight facing several felony charges.
And we are learning this may be just the beginning of a disturbing sexual relationship between the two. Fox 17's Dana Chiklis is in the newsroom now with details. Dana.
And earlier today, we sat down with the best friend of that man's wife, who was this little girl's foster mom for about a year and a half. And just like her best friend, she tells us she feels betrayed, a feeling like you never really know the person you're with.
To me, it was shocking. It was one of those things where I walked around feeling like I was in the Twilight Zone.
In the Twilight Zone, Ashley Brooker says when she found out her best friend's husband is accused of having a sexual relationship with their foster daughter for at least 5 months, starting back in December 2014.
She's just devastated. It's like her whole life was gone.
37-year-old Keith Waters facing up to life in prison, charged with first and second degree criminal sexual conduct with a girl between the ages of 13 and 15.
He told Christine that he couldn't put a number on how many times it happened, that it was unprotected, that from what she's saying, you know, it was an everyday thing.
Brooker saying her best friend had no idea. Then suspicions of the husband of 5 years crept in about 18 months into fostering the girl. Brooker saying the girl would storm out of the room, slam doors whenever her friend showed affection to her husband.
I was watching my friend literally just her whole life just ended right there. Everything she knew, because Keith was the love of her life.
The love of her friend's life, she says, shows no remorse.
He has no remorse at all, none. His exact response was, well, now that this is out in the open, we can move on, and I don't have to have that in the back of my mind anymore.
And Waters was arrested and charged earlier this week. He is being held on a $500,000 bond. He's due back in court later this month. And as for that young girl, we're told by the friend that she's been in a group foster home now since last July. For now, we're in the newsroom. Dana Chiklis, Fox 17 News.
Yeah, today was about as perfect as it can get for this time of year. We had bright sunshine, fairly light winds, and very comfortable temperatures, and much of the weekend is going to be just fine. Here are the current temps: 75 Grand Rapids, 73 Kalamazoo and Three Rivers. Even along the lake shore, we've got a wind coming in off the lake, but 70 at Holland, 72 at South Haven, a little bit cooler at Muskegon, and 67 degrees. Now, it's warm here, but take a look at some of these current temperatures. It's been in the upper 80s to low 90s across parts of the Upper Peninsula, back into Wisconsin. Currently 91 degrees at Minneapolis, but notice 66 at Duluth. We've got a cold front coming through, and typically when we'd see those very warm temperatures off to our west and southwest, we would get in on that, but that cold front's going to come in later on tonight, and that's going to drop us back a bit as we head into both Saturday and Sunday. We're not talking about a lot of rain, and we're not talking about cold air, just a step backwards from where we were today. Here's a look at the satellite and the radar. You can see we are in good shape right now. We've got some high clouds floating through. That's going to be the case overnight tonight, and eventually it'll become cloudy, and we've got this band of showers along the front coming into the UP right now. This is going to run into some very, very dry air, so I think the earliest that band of showers would be in here would be about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be scattered. Not everybody's going to see rain. Here's a couple of our webcams. Fremont, you can see the high clouds there coming in from the west and northwest, and just a beautiful day out on the big lake today. Muskegon, again, high clouds floating in, but all in all, if you've got plans coming for the evening hours, no matter what you're going to do, it's going to stay dry and temperatures very, very comfortable. Tomorrow, a shower possible mainly in the morning as that front goes through. 67. Mother's Day, nice day, partly to mostly sunny, 64. And then as we head into Monday, maybe an evening shower, temperatures in the mid 60s. When I come back up the rest of your 7-day forecast, and there is some more rain showers in that forecast. Michelle.
All right, thanks, Joe. Nearly 2 days after a woman was stabbed repeatedly in her own home, police are still on the scene investigating.
The thing is, there's still no suspect being announced in the case. Fox 17's Rebecca Russell joins us live in Portage with more. Rebecca.
Well, tonight we're learning the victim is 43-year-old Victoria Enos. Enos called police early Thursday morning around 12:30 a.m., telling the police that she had been stabbed multiple times and her attacker fleeing out a rear door. And tonight, police are still at this home on the 10,000 block of Cora Drive investigating what they're calling a complicated scene. Police have been able to communicate with Enos in the hospital, saying that she's in stable condition after surgery. Now, they're not releasing a description of the suspect at this time and can't say if Enos knew her attacker. We're also learning more about the victim's personal life tonight, however. Enos had filed a personal protection order against her husband, Richard Enos, in March, but we don't know if police are considering him a suspect at this time. No arrests have been made related to this case, but police say there's no immediate threat to the community.
As it relates to this offense, at least right now, there isn't anything that points us to some serial criminal out here that people need to be aware of, but I can't 100% say everything that I know at this point.
Now, police have been here at this home ever since they received the call early Thursday morning, saying there's a lot of evidence and they're following up on every possible lead that they're given. But they do tell me that they believe they are moving forward in this case. We'll continue to keep you updated, but for now, we're live in Portage. Rebecca Russell, Fox 17 News.
We're getting a clearer picture of what happened last weekend when a woman was murdered at GRCC in Grand Rapids. Surveillance video released today showing what appears to be the accused killer, Marcus Bivens. In it, the suspect paces back and forth before dragging what looks to be the body of 34-year-old Jeannie Huntoon into the parking garage. Huntoon was stabbed and beaten to death in what police are calling a random killing. GRCC officials say Huntoon was killed Saturday night while the campus was closed. They have licensed police on duty during campus hours.
You can see what took place during those moments. I don't know that what we had on camera helped identify the victim as much as it helped us show, when they arrived to our campus and kind of a little bit of their movements while they were on campus.
Bivens was charged with open murder on Wednesday. His bond was denied after police say he told them he'd, quote, kill again.
2 people are in custody facing several charges after investigators found meth labs. This happened while deputies and parole agents were doing parole and probation checks at a home on Kelly Road in Burr Oak Township in St. Joseph County. The 2 arrested face various charges, including running a drug house and possession with intent to deliver.
Police are investigating a strange death in Kalamazoo. Officers say that just before 6 a.m., a 57-year-old man refused to leave the emergency room. He was arrested, but the man stopped breathing and died once they arrived at the county jail. Police say they're continuing to investigate.
An afternoon crash in Sparta sent 2 people to the hospital. The Kent County Sheriff's Department says it happened at Peach Ridge Northwest and 13 Mile Road around noon today. They say one person was seriously injured and required an Aeromed transport. At last check, no word on what caused the crash or whether speed or alcohol were factors.
A pedestrian is recovering tonight after being hit by a vehicle this afternoon. It happened around 12:30 near the intersection of 10 Mile and Alpine in Grand Rapids. Kent County Sheriff's Department says the person who was hit is expected to survive. No word yet on whether charges will be filed. A mother in West Michigan is fighting City Hall to keep her son's memory alive.
She says the city threw away her little boy's miniature Christmas tree that stood at his grave for 7 years. The city says they simply had to clean up the cemetery. Fox 17's Lauren Edwards has a story now from Bangor.
Monica Jensen says she's still mourning her son's death. He passed away 8 years ago and in her arms, and that tree was her favorite way to remember him.
Everything that was on that tree had a different memory.
Monica Jensen says she wanted to honor her son's life in a great way, so the family put up a small Christmas tree with his mementos on it just months after his death. Her son, Zachary Peterowski, died in June 2008 from a rare blood disorder he battled since birth. The artificial tree stood near his headstone at Arlington Hills Cemetery in Bangor. Initially, the city didn't approve, but his family fought to keep it there.
So Grand Jan went through and took pictures of the rest of the headstones with bushes and trees, live bushes and trees that grow next to these headstones. Okay, what's the difference? Okay, so she proved a point. They said, okay, we agree with you. You can keep the tree.
Jensen says they didn't hear a single complaint from the city since then, 8 years ago. She's grateful Grand Jan, Zachary's grandmother, did that. But everything changed on Monday when Grand Jan went to lay flowers at his site.
And I could hear her just crying as she walked in the door, and I was like, what is wrong? And she's like, Zachary's tree is gone. And I was like, what? And So yeah, and she was very, I calmed her down. I'm like, calm down, maybe they got it at City Hall. We'll go down there tomorrow and see if they still got it.
The next day, Jensen says his grandmother went to City Hall to see what happened. They told her the tree was thrown out during cemetery cleanup, and it's in a landfill in Grand Rapids. They have to clean it twice a year per city rules. They're allowing the family to put up another tree, but the original one is gone.
But we were never even given a chance to claim it. It was just thrown out. And so now all these toys are gone.
When I spoke with City Manager Regina Hoover, she says she never meant to cause any harm to anyone. She says going forward, she's going to call the families personally to let them know when the cleanups happen. In Bangor, Lauren Edwards, Fox 17 News.
A shooting on a Michigan highway shutting down a portion of the interstate today. Our sister station in Detroit says it happened on the westbound side of I-94 near M10. Police say one man was wounded in the shooting. He's in critical condition and in surgery. The suspected shooter is still on the run. It's unclear just how long the highway will be shut down as officers continue their investigation. It is a story our problem solvers have been on since the beginning.
More on how a U.S. congressman is standing behind those wrongly accused of unemployment fraud in Michigan.
You're watching Fox 17 News.